What is up, guys? It's your girl Jessie here on a very humid, muggy day in Alabama. We had just got some rain, so the lens keeps fogging up, and I'm sorry about that. I'm making this video today in honor of my father, Alan Haggard, from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He has a very great very great story about how he became what I've labeled him the one-man biker. And the first clip you're going to see is a Facebook live stream I did right before he left. He was fixing to pull out and head to Alaska on his own from Tennessee. He'd already been on a few journeys. And after that, you'll see some clips he sent me via text message. So you can imagine something via text message. Let me see, I'll wipe y'all off again. The clips you're about to see are text messages he sent me. So you can imagine trying to send something to somebody in Alaska where there's not much cell service. The quality is not all that great. It's a little bit grainy. But I thought you would find it very interesting to see his journey, and you can come along with him. He met some great people on the road from all over the world, and he interviews them, and he shows you some scenery. And he is retired. He is a retired Chief Master Sergeant from the Air Force, Air National Guard. So he loves to fly. He had his pilot license, and so anytime he found a place where they would take you up in an airplane, he went. So you'll get to see that as well. And in the description, I have a link to his Facebook page. Most of his stuff is public, where you can see photos. And he has gone back this year, because this journey was in 2018. Well, this year he carried his girlfriend Joan. They flew, and so there's a bunch of pictures from that and the places he's been before. So just beautiful, absolutely beautiful pictures he takes. He's a great cameraman. So I wonder how I got my skills or my want to film. But I hope you love this, guys. Also, you will get to hear two songs. He likes to make up songs. So in two of the clips, you'll hear him singing his songs about himself, and they're really cool. I would like to get them recorded and put on iTunes one day. That would be really cool. I hope you enjoy this adventure. So lay back and just enjoy the scenery and take a trip with my dad. Let's do this. Coming to you live from an undisclosed location. This is Alan W. Haggard. Alan W. That's right. I'm waiting to see who is coming on. Anybody coming on? Somehow or another I got you black and white by accident. We got one person named Linda Jordan. Hi, Linda.
Well, what are you doing? Are you interviewing for that weather girl's job up there at Fort Payne?
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to know about this?
Well, first of all, tell us about your friend hanging on the back.
That's
What's
Molly.
this story?
That's Molly. Molly is, she's a little gal that I met in the Grand Canyon 4 years ago. She was hitchhiking, so I felt sorry for her and picked her up. Most single men have a teddy bear on their back, but I got a little pig. I like Molly, and you wouldn't believe how many times people have taken her pictures at rallies. She's kind of unusual for a traveling companion. But that's Molly.
Linda Jordan says hi. How's it going?
Hey, Linda, how you doing? It's going good. But anyway, some people.
And she says she remembers that about your little friend.
People want to know why I started doing this. Well, This is a 2012 Gold Wing. It's got all the bells and whistles. It's got a XM radio, which I like. It's got a reverse, things you will not find on a Harley. got a GPS, all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, I bought this bike new in 2012, and shortly thereafter, I had my accident. I fell off a barn, broke both wrists. There's a good example. Broke my left leg from my ankle to my knee, my left shoulder, broke my back in 2 places. I was in hospitals 3 months, in wheelchairs 6 months, and I thought I'd never get to ride this bike. But anyway, after that, my wife left me, and so there went all my plans for our future. So I decided, well, you know, I'm going to carry on with my plan. And when you have a near-death experience, it changes you. My father survived World War II, 372 days in combat, and all he did was sit in that house on the mountain and didn't do anything. And I didn't want to end up like him, so I started riding, fulfilling my dream of retirement. And first year, I went to Sturgis, and your helmet tells the story. You got stickers all over it, the dragon, this and that and the other.
Get your own sticker.
That one right there is my favorite. And anyway, after Sturgis, I went to Yellowstone, rode through it. I went to the Grand Tetons, to Grand Canyon. I went to the Meteor Crater, Painted Desert, Petrified Forest, all that stuff. And that was year 1. Year 2, I went to Texas, and I wanted to find out what everybody down there was so proud of, and I never did find it. But I went to, let's see, I started out at Galveston, went down to Brownsville. I rode the border all the way to El Paso. And my biggest memory of Texas is when well, first of all, the Mexicans thought I was nuts. They were like, man, you going to the Bend alone on a bike in July? You got a death wish, man? And at one point, temperature got up to 122. You had to keep moving because the controls on the bike would get so hot you couldn't hold them.
Oh my gosh!
And I guess that's why bikers wear gloves in the summertime. I don't know. but
anyway, and your face got all blistered, and your nose got all blistered.
My nose rots off every year. I mean, I got Indian blood in me. My nose is pure white, man. But anyway, I turned north, and my biggest memory of Texas was when I rode through a thunderstorm. And there was lightning, just the sky was a spider web of lightning, just continuous lightning hitting all around me in the desert. And these huge raindrops that were just so cold and refreshing. And within 2 miles, the temperature dropped from 114 to 67. And I mean, it was the biggest light show. It looked like a fireworks display, but over to one side, you could see blue sky. I mean, it was just so weird. So anyway, I went to into New Mexico. I went to Billy the Kid's grave, and that was interesting because Billy the Kid is one of my Western heroes. He was not an outlaw. He was simply a man trying to find justice in an unjust world.
Right.
And he fought outlaws who wore badges, is what it amounted to. So anyway, I went into Colorado, and it got cooler as soon as I hit the mountains. Went to Estes Park and parked my trailer. Went into, rode the Rocky Mountain National Park road, which it's just high country, I mean high. And you come on the other side where the Colorado River begins. But that road, the wind was so strong, it was absolutely scary for somebody on a bike because the wind was so high. And it got cold, and all I had with me was a raincoat, and so you just make do with that. So that was year number 2. Well, last year I went back to Sturgis, and then I went to see the Beartooth Highway, which I'd missed the first time out, and I rode it, and stomping around in the snow and all that stuff. And so then I thought, well, where am I going from here? So anyway, the bike made up its own mind. I was just hanging on, and ended up in Idaho and rode the Lewis and Clark Trail along the Salmon River and the beautiful country up there. And they ended up going into, went through Montana. I can't remember how many states right off. I'd have to look it up. But when I got into Oregon, I stopped at a welcome center, and I showed the lady my map, and I said, yeah, this looks like desert down here. And she said, yeah, that's high desert. And I said, well, I've seen enough desert. I said, what's up this way? And she said, well, that's high mountain, or that's mountains. It's pretty country. I said, well, I like mountains, so I'll go up there. So I didn't know what was there, had no clue. And sometimes your best, I mean, you have a general plan when you start out, but your side trips are the best trips you got.
Right, the unplanned
totally
stuff.
Unexpected.
Yeah.
Well, I came into a place called Mount McKinley Pass. And it was awesome. There was a volcano had erupted about 14 million gazillion years ago, and there was lava that had just, I mean, the mountain it came from was over there way off in the distance, but lava had come all the way to where I was, and they had knocked a hole through it and made a road, so you drove right through the middle of it.
Wow.
And then where it stopped, it was like 30 feet high and all these beautiful pine trees. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. And so I kept going west until I hit the Pacific Ocean, and I couldn't go west anymore, so I turned south, went through the redwood forest and walked among the redwoods, and that was pretty amazing. And then I kept going, and I don't know, 200 miles before I got to Los Angeles, I turned east because I don't care anything about big cities. And so you run into all kinds of people on the road. I ran into a guy, and he was like, man, I just came from Los Angeles, and it's so hot, and the gas prices are so high. I got to find a cooler place to ride. So I pulled out my map, and he was taking pictures, you know. And I said, yeah, man, up here, I had to wear my coat yesterday morning. And so, I mean, you meet people on the road that you build fast friendships, sometimes for 30 minutes, sometimes for one night, and then you move on. And that's the way it is. I mean, you meet some great bikers on the road. You're never alone out there as long as there's another biker.
Yeah, you said the bikers always helped you when you were stranded or something.
We take care of each other. I had to change my tire one time in a biker stop. He helped me change my tire, just things like that. But anyway, I went to Yosemite National Park there in California, and then I went through Death Valley, and spent a week in Death Valley one night, and so then I came back through Las Vegas, where I had to get an oil change. But last year was my longest ride and to date, and then I took a poll after that, and I said, well, you know, where does everybody want me to go after this? You know, I was thinking about maybe the Northeast, because there's a few states up there I haven't seen yet, and I thought I could ride to Maine and maybe go up to Brunswick and places like that, or Alaska. And everybody's like, Alaska, and I'm like, oh, I was afraid of that. And I was, well, I'm not getting any younger, might as well do it while I still can.
Yeah.
So this year I've got a matching pair of brand new hips, titanium hips. So maybe I won't be eating as many pain pills.
Yeah, you got new hips and you got new back.
Yeah, you eat too many. I was going through Utah, and I had taken too many pain pills because I was hurting so bad and nearly fell asleep. And I pulled off in a rest area and to try to wake up, and I was walking, and it was the neatest rest area you've ever seen. The trail just went off up through here through all these lava fields and stuff, and I thought, wow, what a cool rest area, man. So I mean, you see all kinds of just unexpected stuff like that.
Yeah.
Out west, and so I've got two good hips, so I'm probably in better shape this year than I ever have been for one of these rides.
Yeah.
So.
And you're an excellent photographer, and you always come back with beautiful photos.
Well, I try
everything you see.
I try to take pictures and stuff.
That's where I get it from, because I love taking pictures too. As long as I remember to put the battery in the camera.
But anyway, this will be my 4th year, and I've gained a little bit of experience. This is my home right here, and there's a few I'm starting to pack up. That thing right there is essential. That's how you keep all your toys, your batteries, and cell phones charged. This is my kitchen.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's not much you need. A pot, a backpacking stove, a spoon, a couple of cans of fuel. This is a canteen cup, World War II canteen cup I've used for about 50 years now. And it's better than the ones they came out with during Nam. It had the folding handles. This is much sturdier. And the ones I have these days are just a piece of junk. I wouldn't even use them.
Huh.
But anyway, when you're on the road, you have all your stuff in here. You pull this thing up, and then you pull it back down. Yeah, that's how you want to see a demonstration?
Sure.
All right. Now, even fully loaded, this thing don't weigh nothing.
While he's doing the demonstration, if y'all got any questions, pop them up there and I'll ask him. Seems like we get 4 or 6 at a time, then it goes down to 2, and then other people come in and watch a little while. So
Yeah.
if y'all got a question, just ask, and I'll relay that along.
Well, let's see here.
I think different places I stand, the connection's coming in and out sometimes, so I apologize about that. But
Pull this up for you.
if you missed what I said, if y'all got a question, y'all can ask him. I see all y'all watching. Uh-oh, here I go again. Low connection. We're going to see how it's done by the man.
Man.
By the man. If I stand over here, get a better connection, I think. I don't know. Seems like every time I move, it says my connection's not real good. I hope the video's coming in pretty clear. Dad is showing us how he does his little trailer and fixes it for bed when he goes on his trips.
Yeah.
And I'll post this here in a little bit so you can see. Oh my goodness! I haven't seen how he does this before. That's pretty neat.
This is how you set up your house at night.
Okay.
This is housekeeping
Yeah.
101.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That's what you call a pop-up tent. Going back
That's
up
it.
the stairs. That's it. All right.
Almost.
Yeah, after you set up all that other. That is pretty cool.
And you're
Can't beat that, huh?
ready for
Roll that around with you wherever you go.
And I got 2 zippers and they're stuck together. Don't worry about that later. Anyway, there's bed.
Okay. Oh my goodness, that's so cool.
And then you pull that up and you get access to all your stuff in there.
Well, how neat. That is pretty cool.
But that's home.
That's home. So, where do you, like, when you head to Alaska, what all places are you wanting to try to see while you're there?
Well, let's show you a little bit on the map here, maybe. First of all, you got to go through Paducah, Kentucky to go anywhere up north. I don't know if you can see this. I got the light, but then I'll be coming up through this direction. Let's see, right up through here. I'll be going through North Dakota, which is the only northern state, western state I have not been to yet. Then I'll be going up this way through Winnipeg. Then I'll head in this direction into Alberta. I'll be going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Canadian provinces. Right up in here is Dawson Creek. I think it is. I think it's in Alberta. But that is the beginning of the Alaskan Highway. Mm-hmm. And I'll be going up into Alaska to, let's see if I can find the thing that concerns me is two things. Number one is the weather, of course. Snow and ice is what I'm worried about, because that and bikes don't mix. But and then number two is the Alaskan Highway. I've heard horror stories about it, but I'll be going to Fairbanks and then down to Anchorage, and then back up this way, and then after that, I don't know.
Just wherever the road takes you.
I'm going to be going through the Canadian Rockies for sure, and then maybe possibly back through Glacier National Park in Montana. That's the most beautiful national park I've ever been to. So I'd like to see it again and take some more pictures when I've got more time. So time is not a problem.
Yeah. And nobody get any ideas about coming and hitting this place. He's got a house sitter. And she knows where the guns are.
Yeah,
and she's got 2 vicious dogs in there.
and she does have a gun, and she knows how to use it. I would not even attempt this without somebody here at the house to pay the bills and watch over the house. And I mean, you got to have support from the home front. In the beginning, I did it, and I didn't have anybody here. And I would send Jessica pictures with strict orders: do not post anything on Facebook until I get back, because I didn't want somebody to come and rob me and stuff while I was gone. Right. So, but that's changed now. So I've got somebody here.
So it's pretty neat now, because we can travel along with you. As you send me pictures, I can update everybody where you're at and what all it looks like.
And there's going to be times when I won't have any cell coverage. You may not hear from me for days at a time. Yeah. And that's to be expected. So. Yeah. So I mean that happened. It's gotten better over the years. My friends and I hunted Colorado for 20 years. We were hunting out in the mountains and pitched tents out there in blizzards and things like that. And that was when cell phones first came out, and Mickey had a cell phone, and he actually got a signal in the peons where we were camped. And it was so neat because everybody got to call home, Yeah. Well, then later on, you go out there and you get in those mountains, and I mean, even around here, I can go up Smoky Mountain to places where you won't get a signal. Yeah. And I took a kayak trip one time. I paddled 123 miles in 6 days, and for 6 days I did not have a cell signal. So nobody knew if I was alive or dead for a whole week, Yeah. And the same thing's going to happen here. I'm going to be in places where I won't have a signal, and but just hang in there, and I'll eventually surface somewhere. Yeah.
Well, just what I always say: try to call me or text me or send me a picture every night. That way, I don't worry about you before I go to bed.
Well, I'll try to. Like I said, if I don't have a signal, I don't have a signal.
Yeah.
But Jessica's going to be my main contact, because I can't send stuff to everybody. It just runs my battery down on my phone. Right, that's true. So,
but we will keep it updated.
Depend on her.
Yeah, and it'll be neat to follow you along for those of us that still have to work and either can't afford to go or don't see that they've got the stamina to get on a bike and go. We'll just live our life through you.
Twyla, my cousin Twyla, is out there right now with her husband. I know she's having a ball. And it's fun because when I see where she's at or where she's been, I'm like, oh, cool, I was there. Hey, did you look at this while you were out there?
Yeah.
So,
she knows where y'all.
Yeah, so I mean, she's seen some of the country I see.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, I think that's pretty neat.
Okay, I guess we're done because it's bad hot out here.
This is Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Who would have ever thought that this would be the longest back? Thought I was kidding you about the rabbits. That's called breakfast in bed.
Well, I got around that first storm, made it across the river and just caught the fringes and ran right into another one. The worst of it's past now. That was a sleet storm. It beat the crap out of me while it lasted. That's what you run into when you're out here on the back. One right after another. I couldn't get around that one. I won't need a bath tonight.
Yep, I ran right into it. I saw it coming. It caught me, so I had to pull off and wait it out. Looks like it's going to be a good one too. The guy's pretty over there. Too bad I ain't over there. But it's going to get nasty here in a minute.
I'm here at Fort Battleford, checking out a Canadian fort. Actually, I really don't think forts back in the 1880s were built with creosote telephone poles and stainless steel hardware. But the little critters running around on the ground over there are prairie dogs. There they go. They stand still because they think you can't see them when they stand still. He just went in his hole. But anyway, that's what lives in the fort these days.
No worries at all. So what year is it?
This is an 82.
82.
Excuse me, 2012, I'm sorry. 2012.
2012,
Yeah.
That sounds a bit better. They did make them back, some fairly flashbacks on the back though, in the 70s. They had the big 4-cylinder 750s, I think they were. Police used to have them as well. Yeah. Oh wow, Tennessee.
Yep, all the way from Tennessee.
Yeah. You got a little tent pops up there too?
Yeah, that's a camper.
Yeah.
It pops it into a camper.
I struck one of your fellow countrymen up in Alaska last year.
Yeah,
A very similar setup.
that's where I'm headed.
Oh yeah, Alaska. He had a little flap on the back that would go over the tail lights.
Yeah.
So when he camped at night, he didn't like the idea of getting bushwhacked. So he said, because if anybody going past, they'll catch the reflection of your lights, he said of them. He just camped on the side of the road, go into the bush a bit, you see. So he said, no, you got to cover the reflectors. Get shot in your bed. Oh, that'll be good. I'll get a photo of your bike and then I'll...
Okay.
It'll be good.
Yeah, go right ahead. This is July 2nd, 2018. This is my campsite in Alberta. Just got in the province. Set my tent up tonight, so I got the picnic bench right there, so I can sit right there and take my boots off without any problem. There's my bed right there. Do my homework every night, maps and logs and all that kind of stuff. Got some mosquito spray for a change. I had one minor problem. Safety chain. Well, my safety chain's drug the ground and drug a link in two, so I'm gonna have to get that fixed first time I find a hardware store. But other than that, old Red's performed pretty good. After over 2,000 miles, we're still alive. Molly. And it's held up pretty good. She's a good traveling partner.
Well, if you non-campers out there, I'll give you a little demonstration of how the slider thing works. You just get a chunk of it. It's kind of a gooey nozzle is all it is. All right. We'll take it and we'll set it down here when it get hot. Ouch! It's hot too. And then it's just instant fuel. And you got a fire that you want to start or one that's not burning good, you put some of that on there and it just goes crazy. That's how it works.